You say you don't need me, but I'm the only one you call whenever you're lost. You say you got somewhere to be, but you've been here since yesterday with your phone turned off. Mind's doing all the talking, but have you asked your heart? Sounds like a good place to start. Your feelings seem to be left in the dark, defeated. Quiet screaming, what if? But what if you ask your heart? Sounds like a good place to start. Sounds like a good place to start. Your feelings seem to be left in the dark, defeated. Quiet screaming, what if? But what if you ask your heart? Sounds like a good place to start. Ooh, your heart. Ooh. Sounds like a good place to start. The feeling Lately I have had trouble sleeping, so I stay up late at night in the room by the TV light. All I want is to get some shut-eye, but my thoughts are keeping me awake. I don't know what it is, but it's been like this ever since we kissed. I don't know what to do, 'cause I long for you every single night. It's been like this ever since we kissed. I try my best to keep my mind occupied so that I can focus on anything but you. 'Cause all I want is to get some shut-eye, but the thought of you is keeping me awake. I don't know what it is, but it's been like this ever since we kissed. I don't know what to do, 'cause I long for you every single night. I don't know what it is, but it's been like this backs and played your cards. Summer felt like autumn with the sun so bright and cold, but snow began to fall and there's a light. Searching courage to get up again in an armful of a friend. Between walls we both know oh so well. Now's the time he stops pretend. La 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 la. I'm smiling, what is happening? La 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 la. Oh my God, there's my light, dressed every day. His well-known eyes makes me oh my God. How come I've never felt like this until his kiss, singing oh my God. Oh my God. I've been watching you for years, he said, but I've never realized that you and I would end up here someday. You're the one that's on my mind. La 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 la. I'm shining, what is happening? La 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 la. Oh my God, there's my light, dressed every day. His well-known eyes makes me oh my God. How come I've never felt like this until his kiss, singing oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. There's my light, dressed every day. His well-known eyes makes me oh my God. He's not you, he dares to stay. He'd do